I've seen artists that learn too much go in and tell record company people, or to try to tell them, how to do their jobs, because they might have been unhappy or thinking that the record company wasn't spending enough time. And in that sense, that's not a good thing. Let them do their job. Don't piss them off. They'll put you on a shelf and leave you there for 3 years until your contract runs out. But I think knowing the business is smart. If you can get your hands on a record contract and read one, it's pretty eye-opening. I once did a class at Belmont, and I sat in a class for a friend of mine, and they were talking about music contracts. And the example that they had in class was 30 pages. And that was the book example, you know. And I said, well, not anymore. At the time, I said, the last contract I did was 100 pages. 100 pages. And you might think, why would a contract be 100 pages long? And I said, that's how many ways they're telling you they're not going to pay you. And I said, do you know what one looks like? And the class said, no. And I bent over in front of class and grabbed my ankles. I said, that's what a 100-page contract looks like, because they're not going to pay you. So I think it's smart to know going in, because there are things in contracts that are pretty standard across the board that I think really have no place. And I've heard friends in the business in this town grumble about it. Do you want me to elaborate a little bit? I mean, in typical record company contracts, I know, forgetting the 360 deals, there are things in there where they have a promotion fee that is deducted from what they pay you. In other words, they say, listen, we're not going to sell everyone. We're going to be handing them out, giving them to industry people, etc., which is true. I mean, it's very true. So they say 20% of what they would sell, you know, is going to promotion. So that's freebies. The problem is, a friend of mine who produced Brooks and Dunn a while back sold 3 million records. And he said to me, wait a minute. You know, he says, I'm not getting paid on 600,000 units. He said, there's no way they can give away 600,000 units. So if you're going to have a promotion fee in a contract, cap it. Limit it to, say, okay, you don't give away more than 100,000. Come on. You know, that's way over the top. So, but that's it. Another thing is, when they went, see, CDs came about because record companies thought they weren't making enough money. So the old vinyl albums that we love so dearly, that look so cool and scratch and sound terrible after a while, they were about $9 at the time. And when the CD came out, they could call it digital. They could sell it for $16.98, which almost doubled the price of the record. And at the same time, eliminate the single, the sales of the single, so that they could force you to buy the whole record. That was your choice as a consumer. You had to buy the whole, you know, and you get 1 or 2 good songs and the rest was crap. So, I mean, a lot of people today, a lot of kids don't realize this today, but you know, you see the 45, that went out. Record chart position in singles was, by saying, when I did Betty Davis Eyes, we sold nearly 14 million singles worldwide, #1 in 26 countries in the world. That meant 14 million copies at $1 a piece. Singles. Today, chart singles are airplay. So it's not the people's vote, it's kind of what gets played the most. Well, people call in, but then that leaves the hole for record companies to hire their own people to call into the station pretending to be consumers so that they can get more spins. So that's the whole thing, getting more spins. Now, album sales are all, you know, they're tracked. So, hey, hats off to Apple Computer. They went, hey, you know, we could download singles and we could sell singles. Nobody's selling singles. What a concept. What is it, over 10 billion now? You know, iTunes is the go-to. Hello? So what were the record companies thinking? They fought digital. It's funny, I mean, you talk about technology and we talk about how wonderful it is, yet record companies from the 80s fought technology all the way. Their whole thing was short-term, make a lot of money. We'll worry about the long-term later. Well, what were you thinking? All of a sudden, you've unleashed the digital dog. The Napster comes along, everybody's like ripping and doing stuff for free, and they're going, we can't stop them. Well, what were you thinking? You know, you didn't put any safeguards in a CD. They can just rip it and have perfect record quality for free. You know, which hurts songwriters too. You know, so anyway, and I think that's part of the entitled generation's thinking, because a lot of young kids I know came up thinking that, well, you know, you owe me this and it's free. Why not? Why shouldn't I take it? talk to me when you're a songwriter and somebody's taking your work and stealing it. And then tell me how you feel. And that's how you feed your family, or yourself or whatever. So it's a fine line. But Apple seized on that. I thought that was terrific. Here now we got single sales again. And everybody, so I mean, it's nice. I mean, I have product up there from different bands I've produced. People can just go buy a 99-cent single, and I just go to my little page. I got my accounting. There it is. Every minute. You don't have to wait for any record company statements. So I think today a progressive thinking on a band's part is guerrilla marketing, street marketing. Take it outside the record company. You don't need a record company. The only thing that a record company, I think, would give you is when you book a gig and you can say former Sony or Sony recording artist or MCA or whoever it happens to be, Warner Brothers recording artist, that allows you to charge more at the gate. But then again, that's not necessarily the model. You can think of groups outside of that they don't even need record companies. They even give their product away. Radiohead. Well, just pay us what you can. Didn't hurt a thing. And record companies go, you can't do that. You won't make any money. They say, watch us. We'll market our record and we'll do it. And they did. They sold how many records? I don't know how many millions of albums. So that's
they're keeping more of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
that's
instead
the
of getting
thing,
50 cents or owing the company $2 million, now you're going like, well, I don't owe you anything, and I made the money.
Well, on our record label, Sonic Sorbet, my business partner Beeb and I, he's from Little River Band, the original guys. We were trying to get this kid in Texas to get out there and do well, and we were hiring promotion people, and it was expensive, and we decided, you know what, we're going after this ourselves, and because we've been around, had a lot of history in records. I called a program director. I didn't and say, hi, this is so-and-so, Bill Cuomo with Sonic Sorbet Records. We've got a new artist. We sent you a single. Want to get your opinion. What do you think? And then the program directors, we talk, and then they, through the conversation, realize that, oh, you played on that Whitesnake record? I used to be a pop DJ. I love that record, And before you know it, we're talking to program directors from all these Clear Channel stations that people in this town told me, you'll never get on those stations in Texas. Don't tell me never. Don't tell me never, ever. I'll get on those stations. And we got on over 100 stations. We got them in the Texas top 10 twice, top 15. We got them in the top 40 records of the year, and we're competing against big dogs with designer labels to make them sound like they're little dogs, but they're really Sony. They're really BMG. They're really, what I'm saying? They're Universal. They're all the big guys. We just got ourselves on, and we just hit it. Just hit it. Got the artist out there, made him sign photos. We'd send singles out. We'd hand burn singles for each station, and each program director's name would be on it with the station and his personalized copy. Just make it different. They loved that. Absolutely loved it. Instead of just from the big machine, they got something delivered to them, and they just, of course now the delivery system, you don't have to do that now. They can just go and deliver it via MP3s live. But at that time, boy, because there was CD Express, and they loved the fact that they would get a personal single mastered for their radio station. Hey, service counts, maybe. That's the other thing. I think young artists, what you have to realize is you're in a line with thousands and tens of thousands of other people just like you that want to be famous. You are replaceable. You have to understand that. I mean, as good as you are, you're replaceable. I've seen artists, when they get in a position where they're doing well, start to forsake their audiences and start to get careless about stuff. And, once you lose that, it's hard to get it back. I worked with a band years ago, a famous pop band that I won't name, and they had a huge hit. And right after that big album, they decided to take a year off and buy BMWs and go have the time of their lives. They came back a year later to make another record, and by the time they got back with the record and ready to go, it was nearly 2 years. And it was like, ooh, they moved on to the next thing. So, don't make the mistake of thinking that you're irreplaceable. Yes, you have talent, and you may be really, really, really great, but, you have no idea of how many people are waiting in the wings to kill you for that spot. So treasure it, just treasure that spot.